Hello, beautiful people of the internet. Welcome back to the latest episode of the Games and Culture Podcast. As always, Nick is here with me.
Hello.
I'm Caleb. You all know this. This is like the 18th
Eighth
video,
episode.
8th episode, whatever. Every time we make the thumbnails, I have to ask Nick how many episodes it is. So,
Someone has to keep track around here.
Yes, exactly. So we have quite an episode for you. This has not been a very easy few weeks worth of news to digest. So you're going to hear lots of opinions on this show.
We were close to doing an early episode, but we just have time to get around to doing it. So one episode to do everything.
Yes, one episode to rule them all. So get ready for a lot of justified hate in this episode.
We're taking a lot of people to task.
Yes. And for those people that we're taking to task, if you ever want to sit down and have a conversation with us, we would love to have a conversation with you about your stupid decisions. I know that we're a very small channel, but I feel like we have two very loud voices, so it would be fun for us. But enough of the preamble. Nick, what have you been playing during these hard times?
These hard times. I've been playing more Stellar Blade, so let's get the good news out of the way. The more I play it, the more I am willing to make the call on it. Its gameplay, combat-wise, is better than Nier Automata's. Straight up, it wins.
Wow.
Story-wise, it's not picking up. It's not bad by any stretch, but it is taking a minute to get going. But I'm also kind of seeing, I think, where it's going with it, and it's just not going to be able to fight. I keep having to compare it to Nier Automata because that's where it draws a lot of inspiration from. But story-wise, it's not a fight it can win. We're talking a titan of storytelling in that.
Yeah.
Gameplay-wise, it's an easier fight, but this one very much has since it has some FromSoft DNA in there. Beating the bosses in this are just so satisfying.
Yeah, I definitely can understand that. Little bit of a FromSoft veteran myself, so that's where it seemed to take a lot of the gameplay DNA is from those very, very popular action RPGs at the time.
I think the best bet, because I mean a lot of the advertisements for the game was more trying to lead towards the story a little bit and some other things. I think which I mean they're gonna do that again next time for that, which whatever, that's fine. But I think next time going into like the thing to advertise, not really a story, advertise the gameplay. That's clearly your strength, so lean into it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think advertising is one of the things where a lot of people kind of fall by the wayside. Mm-hmm. There's not a one way to advertise to land everybody, and so their approach wasn't the worst one. But I think that indexing on the gameplay probably would have helped out quite immensely in conveying the message of what the game is.
Yeah, I mean most reviews have praised the gameplay significantly. So as this is not, my opinion is not a hot take at all in this one. It's pretty much like the common consensus that the gameplay in this game is stellar. Pun intended.
Yeah, I was about to say. Well, while you were playing Stellar Blade, I was playing two games, one of which we're sharing and currently playing through together, but at the same time, I should say. But the other one, I got into the Marvel Rivals closed alpha. If I didn't, there was a crime that was going to be committed. But I got into it. Marvel Watch, as one of my friends at work called it. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. If you didn't get into the closed alpha, I'm sure that there is a beta coming sometime in the future. Response has been pretty positive on it. People like the gameplay. People like the heroes. Everybody's characterized in pretty much the way that you would expect. Gameplay wise, third person 6v6 hero shooter, same makeup as Overwatch except it being in third person. I like the third person. I think the third person is really good. I think it's an extra good thing for marketing and monetization because you have all of these Marvel superheroes and villains that have iconic looks. And you definitely would want to be able to see those iconic looks, unlike in Overwatch, which is a first-person game. So I think it was really, really smart for NetEase to make it third person. At first, I was failing to understand why it was an alpha because it was really actually like really well developed. I didn't have any server issues, no really issues in terms of gameplay aside from aside for some balancing issues, but the more I've played, the more those balancing issues are at the forefront. There are characters that are designed to do one thing that can't do it because they're so underpowered. So there's melee and range characters. No surprise there. Overwatch had those, but pretty much there was only a couple melee characters in Overwatch. About half the cast is melee characters in Marvel Rivals, and so if you're a melee character, unless you got the damage to back up what you're doing, if you get in the face of somebody, you're pretty much just gonna die because if especially if they're all range characters that are sitting back and kind of just kind of laughing at you as you dive in. So there definitely needs some tweaks and some changes. Like Spider-Man, I think is supposed to be kind of like an assassin. He's got the best traversal in the entire game, and he's fast. And so I think he's supposed to be able to get in the back line, separate out maybe a carrier or a healer, kill them, and then be able to get back to the team. And he just cannot do it. I could not
Hmm.
kill a person in isolation
Hmm.
with
It definitely sounds like
Spider-Man
it's
at all.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. I see some clips of it. I wasn't able to get in much, but yeah, I definitely saw some Spider-Man issues going on. I think also was it Hella seemed pretty strong.
yeah,
Um, so, um, but
the
it
characters
also
that
did.
are strong are really fucking strong.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to play it once I have a chance if the game if I get a code where the beta opens up. But I'm more curious in your opinion. How does it feel? I guess in comparison to not where Overwatch is now, because obviously Overwatch where it is now, not counting the monetization problems it has, but just gameplay. How does it compare to like the original Overwatch, like when Overwatch was like almost in its heyday?
Yeah, so I think it's pretty on par. I mean, all like I said, all the characterizations are good. They interact with each other. Map design is pretty consistent with what you would see out of Overwatch. Um, there's only two maps in the alpha, so I mean I can't say that I've seen a ton of what they have to offer, but everything just is fine. Like there's a couple like King of the Hill maps, and there's a couple like payload maps, and everything's fine there. Nothing feels too outside the norm. So it really was a this formula isn't broken. Let's just put our spin on it, and I really do
Yeah.
appreciate that. I think the tempo of the game could be kicked up quite a bit. It does
Mhm.
feel a little sluggish at times, especially when both teams are using pretty much like full range comps, because that seems to be the optimal strategy. Aside from a couple other exceptions, like Magic is super strong. Like when especially when she has her ultimate, when she turns into her demon form, she can get in your team and just destroy everything. But it's like to put this in perspective, Magneto and Doctor Strange, both tanks that play exactly like Sigma does to a point, and so it's two Sigmas, maybe even four if both teams have a Doctor Strange and a Magneto, just taking pot shots at each other the entire game, and nothing's really happening very much. So
Mhm.
I think balance is the thing that needs to be worked on the most, and
Yeah.
making sure that the balance goes in favor of speeding up the game, speeding up the tempo, lending itself to more action and more fun and dynamic games, because that's what Overwatch had in spades was fast
Yeah.
tempo gameplay, where every fight could be your last or the start of a huge run back where you're defending the payload for 7 minutes, just winning fight after fight after fight. Like there haven't been any moments like that in my experience playing Marvel Rivals so
Yeah.
far. So at first I was
Say
like, why is this an alpha? After learning a little bit more about the balance, I was like, yeah, okay, I see why this is an
that
alpha.
makes
They
sense. I mean,
they
it's Apple,
they
so
gotta
it's
they gotta get it
forgivable.
tuned.
I mean, there's a reason why Overwatch became what it was at first. Because when it first came out, yeah, they got the balance. I mean, there was some issues, but that speedy tempo and that feeling was there. Now,
Hmm.
and throughout the years, they did lose it, and I
Yes.
don't really know if you could ever say they got it back. But my hope for Marvel Rivals is they can kind of reclaim that former glory.
Yeah. My hope for the game is they take like a Pokemon Unite approach where every character is powerful. I think games are most fun when that's the case, because then your character is always good, because everybody is good. So
Yeah,
that was my hope, and but we'll
my
have to see.
balance is a tricky thing to hit.
Yes, yes, it is. So I think giving themselves a very long runway by saying that this is an alpha allows them plenty of time, I will say, to get that balance fine tuned and to get to have the game that they want. So, and like I said, I'm sure a beta will be coming soon for everybody because they're definitely going to want to release this on console.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a beta is the perfect time to bring in those console players because it was only on PC for the alpha through Steam. So but
Yeah, there's too much money.
the technical bones of the game are fine tuned. I didn't have a single problem with logging in. There's like a couple queues just with the amount of people logging in. They
Yeah.
weren't very long. It wasn't like any kind of WoW expansion launch day or anything crazy like that. So
No,
I
it's a
didn't have
closed out full.
yeah, I didn't have any technical issues with the game. So they have that part right. They just need to get the balancing down and maybe
Yeah,
get a couple new characters in there. Character designs and art style are awesome. They went with this very cel shaded view of it.
it
So
looks good.
everybody looks comic booky, but they gave every character their own spin on what the character looks like. So Spider-Man, for instance, my favorite character, his suit is the classic red and blue suit, but like the spider has a few more edges on it, kind of similar to like 2099 suit, and it looks like more futuristic overall. Um, and so yeah, it was just they took their own spin on it while being um respectful to the character in itself. So
It looks good. As I said, I mean, it'll go on console. There's too much money to be made with this game, just because I mean, the bigger issue, and we won't know until the game comes out, is the microtransactions, because this is going to be free to play. These are
well,
Marvel
so we do
characters.
have a little bit of insight as that as
We
well.
do. Oh,
Yes.
I was assuming there was no shop in the game just because it's alpha.
There is no shop in the game, but there
Okay.
was a battle pass for people that were part of the alpha.
No,
And
I'm not
they
supposed
just
to do that.
gave it to everybody. So I think that they will be doing a battle pass and shop formula because
Yeah,
there
makes
is
sense.
already an in-game currency that they were giving you through the battle pass to purchase skins. Very much so in a similar way to Overwatch, where you can go to the character's page and go to the skin and purchase it from the page. So I think it will be very similar.
Yeah, hopefully it's better price, and for the fact that we're getting Marvel characters and it's third person, I think that will help it somewhat. We'll see. But yeah, it'll go on console eventually. There's just no way
Yeah.
it won't.
Yeah. We'll have to see for full monetization when it kind of gets closer to that point. But I think that they will be doing a battle pass and a shop formula.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Yeah, it will be free to play, so that's the most sense. So
Yeah.
just
Well,
another
speaking of
battle
games,
pass for the pile.
another one.
Another one.
Speaking of games giving themselves a long runway, we were both playing Hades 2.
I don't even know why they did.
I was saying
I really don't understand. Between Baldur's Gate 3 and Hades 1 and now 2, early access does not mean early access. Early access means we're putting the game out for you to enjoy at a discounted price, and you're going to see us do live updates for it, and it's really just free DLC essentially because the game is feature complete right out of the box. Like I don't even understand why they did it, but whatever. Shit.
There are some things I'm not now. Granted, I don't know how far you're in the game. Because
I have gotten all the way to Kronos.
I
have not been able to best him yet.
Okay, so you can. Oh man, I'm shocked. Okay, because I got to Cerberus. I shouldn't spoil. Whatever. But
spoilers.
I did.
Fuck you.
Spoilers. Sorry.
Shit. I don't care. IGN already rated it, so it's out. It's released.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
fucking buy it. If you have a PC, it's Steam Deck verified already. Fucking buy it. I don't know.
mean, yeah, go over because they also said this game may increase in price when we get the official release, but if you buy it now, you're locked in.
$30.
Just buy it now. You like Hades 1? Yeah, you're gonna like Hades 2. I mean,
so have you gone up at all?
Wait, do they unlock the up too?
Yes.
I assume it was just later an update.
You should already have you should already be able to go to your cauldron and do the spell to unlock the up. Yeah, the up is a completely full area as well. When I tell you that this game is feature complete, it's feature complete. They're only adding one more area and one more weapon. This game is feature complete.
So
when you factor it in, that's already twice the size of Hades 1. Everything is voice acted, just like in Hades 1. And The story is as incredible as the first one. Yes.
I'm shocked. I literally thought, okay, hey, it's early access. Okay, I mean, okay, then the third area will be where we cap off, and that's it. We'll you go all the way to what Chronos? You know, would you expect to be the final boss?
That's down.
And then there's an up that's still in the game as well. I thought that, okay, we're gonna talk about the going up, but we're not gonna do it just yet because the game's not here.
There's two spells. There's two spells in your cauldron. You have to you do one to go up, and then you do the second one to survive going up. Because just like with Zagreus, you as an underworldian cannot survive.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm assuming going through the up path is a lot harder than going through the down path.
No. It's the same. Okay. It's the same difficulty all over the entire game.
Okay. Okay.
As you can see, we both really love Hades too.
It's fantastic.
I'm breaking the rule for this year. It's not releasing this year. It will go 1.0 next year. It will be on our best of.
I mean, at that point,
it cannot not do it. So
at that point, it's the whole game. I assumed that would be less in the game than what it is.
Yeah, no. In their roadmap, they're only saying they're adding one more area. So I don't know if that's like a section, kind of like the sewers. Like I don't know if it's just like that section or if it's a whole like third campaign area. But they are adding a new area, they said, and they are adding another weapon. You can already see the last weapon slot in the weapon select. So
this game is more feature complete than actual like AAA games.
Yes.
And it's what the fuck? Yeah, I mean, I already felt that way before you told me all this, and now you told me that stuff's already in the game. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, no,
how is this early access?
If you like Hades 1, Hades 2 is everything that was good with Hades 1, just better. The combat is faster, the weapons feel better, the powers feel better. Characters, there's more stakes this time. This isn't just his son trying to reclaim his family. Like this is a war for Olympus against the Titans. So there's infinitely more stakes right out of the gate. And that's where the two areas play in effect. You are going down to beat Kronos to stop the war, but Olympus is calling for your help to go up. And so you have to kind of find that middle ground of like, who the fuck do I help? So
holy crap.
Yes, and after you confront Cerberus, spoilers, this isn't a huge thing. The last area is so emotional going through it. If you've played Hades 1, you're like, fuck man, I need to beat fucking Kronos. And then Kronos 2 shot me and I was like, oh, I may not be able to do this, okay?
I'm shocked that I was half expecting the game to end after that third area. Like, okay, waiting early access is the rest of the game. Well, rest of the game.
So that's why I'm saying I don't understand why this is being dubbed early access. If Supergiant released this game, said it was done, and then there was DLC later this year, I would have been none the wiser.
That would.
I would have happily handed them my credit card to buy the DLC. I would have been none the wiser. So
I mean, I would have paid. I would have paid the full price for what is already on offer.
Yeah,
a full 70.
What the? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, more than likely, if that's how much is in the game. Yeah, this is it might be able to break the rule of early access for like Game Awards and stuff.
Yeah. It's just it's done. The game is done. Like, I don't really know, other than that last weapon, I really don't understand what there is to add to it.
I mean, how many games add new weapons to them after they're actually officially released? Like, a bajillion of them.
Yeah.
So
it honestly is crazy. Like, if you have a Steam Deck or you have a PAC, go and buy Hades 2. It is the sequel to the best roguelite. This is now the best roguelite. Like, if you're not playing Hades 2 right now and you have a Steam Deck or a PC, like, what are you doing? Like, it's $30. It's not even 70. It's not premium. Supergiant is giving this game away for pennies, and it is more complete than most of the games being released these days. It's crazy. Yeah,
Man.
I also thought when I saw that there was an up area, I was like, "Aha, that's the area that they're gonna add it from after early access." Okay, cool. I'll just go down, and then you get the prompting like, "Yeah, no, you can break the seal on that thing. Here's how you do it." And I'm like, "Okay."
Wait, to the game?
And so I did that and went up, and I was like, "Okay, I'm above ground. Oh, I'm dying." And then they're like, "Yeah, there's a way that you can survive up there." And then it pops up in the cauldron. I'm like, "Well, fuck it. Okay."
Dang, how many areas have you how many attempts have you made to go up? Like how many areas are in the upward path?
So I've only made it past the first boss of the top once, and so I've been into the second area
Okay.
of above ground. And
So we
I will say,
so
I will say, I think the focus with the above ground parts is they're trying to be different than Hades 1. So you got to Cerberus, so there was those open areas. That's
yeah.
new to Hades 2 too.
Yeah.
But above ground, you the first area, this isn't a big spoiler or anything because it's literally the second room after you learn how to survive up there. There's 6 seals and you can go to 6 rooms, but there's like 10 rooms. So you kind of get to choose your own adventure and then it leads to the boss. And then the next area also has a gimmick that's completely new to Hades too. So I think the above ground parts is where they're trying to be a bit more experimental, whereas
Okay.
going down is the classic Hades experience with a couple new twists.
Yeah.
Like
That's
like being able to unseal other options in the sewers. Like
yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy. That's
Yes.
absolutely crazy. That
Yes.
the fact that I assume because I'm assuming I think when Hades 1 went to early access, it was just the original first area that was had at the start, and they added the rest that went on. The fact that this game has not just the entirety of would you be Hades 1 in it going, the equivalent of going, the four levels down, and Hades 1's 4 levels up.
Yeah.
They also have going up as well. Okay, yeah, they're just flexing on everybody right now.
Yeah, Supergiant's just like we're the best game dev in the world right now. Suck it. I hope Insomniac takes that and goes, "Whoa, Venom game." Fuck you.
Damn, that is. I mean,
Yes, go buy Hades 2.
yeah, that's the best way I can say it. Holy shit! This is news to me how what's in this game too. Holy crap!
Yeah, we'll probably do a review after both of us at least can beat one of the final bosses. Maybe that's the benchmark here.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Hades 2 is excellent. All right, well, it's time for bad news now.
Yeah. The good news, the good news is what we were playing.
Yeah,
Bad news, everything else.
We've had our fun. It's time to be miserable. Xbox has found themselves in some hot water in the past couple weeks
Again.
for being dumb.
Again.
Being stupid. Straight up being stupid. So earlier this year, they had laid off 1,900 employees across mostly Activision Blizzard. After the acquisition, everybody pretty much saw this coming because after an acquisition, you kind of get rid of redundancies and stuff. You don't need an HR department for Activision Blizzard because you have an HR department for Xbox. Those kind of things. Still sucks that 1,900 people lost their jobs. Well, over the last couple of weeks, Xbox said, well, hey, what if we did that thing again? And they closed down 3 game studios and absorbed 1. The one that absorbed, I think it was Roundhouse Games. I'm not super familiar with them. They got folded into one of the ZeniMax studios. Yes, to do Elder Scrolls Online. Roundhouse was mostly already supporting for Elder Scrolls Online. Makes sense why they got folded in to keep doing that. The other 3, though, were major closures.
Alpha Dog was they were a mobile phone, which is weird that you can close one of your. We'll get worse as we go along. So
we'll get worse as we go along. Excellent way to do that.
It's weird that because clearly they were pushing. We really want Activision for King. Okay, so you had another studio who was already making mobile games, and you want to release a mobile studio, so you close one of your Mobile Studios.
Yeah, they worked on the Mighty Doom, which by all accounts looks like it was fun. I don't think I've heard anything bad about Mighty Doom. I guess it just wasn't bringing in the money that Candy Crush does, which is an
Of course it is.
unreasonable expectation to have about anything. So yeah, they closed Alpha Dog Studios. And then there are the two big ones. They closed Arcane Austin,
Yeah,
which is story developer.
Yeah, the fact that, I mean, it's still unreasonable to close them after Redfall, because Redfall wasn't their fault. They didn't want to make that game, and you were forced to make. Bethesda was forced to make it before Microsoft bought them, and then during the buyout process, Arcane Austin was actually hoping Microsoft would come in after the fact and go, okay, no, you're not doing this anymore, and save them. But essentially, Microsoft came in, all right, well, guys have fun, bye. Just didn't even bother talking to them about it.
Yeah,
shoved the game out the door, expecting double-digit points higher than what it got. Which, when you're looking at the footage of the game, how are you expecting double-digit point higher off of that? What were you playing?
Yeah,
because this wasn't just like.
Well, even before Redfall, though, Arcane Austin had a very storied history. They are the people that made Dishonored. They made 20
Prey.
I'm trying to remember what year. I think it was 2019, but it might have been 2017. 2017 Prey. Like, that game is.
I've heard nothing about Prey.
I've played.
I want to try.
It's super good. If you like BioShock, it's BioShock in space.
Yeah, and that was the point I was trying to make, is bring on those. Like, okay, they made I had a boo boo with Redfall. Shit happens. You shouldn't close them after a mistake like that. But it would be an easier pill to swallow than the first one. The next one we'll do, just because, okay, yes, you make a mistake, and sometimes that can get you closed. That does happen in any entertainment industry.
But if you make them Game of the Year nominee and winner of a shit ton of awards, that just gets you closed. The final one being Tango Gameworks. They closed Tango Gameworks a year after Hi-Fi Rush comes out and blows away critics and users alike. It's nominated for Game of the Year. For Game of the Year, it won a ton of awards. It won a Game Award, and I think it won a couple BAFTAs. I think it won a couple DICE Awards.
Like this is the most infuriating one. Because what measures of success do you have then? Okay, you make a bad game, you get closed. Okay, it makes sense. It shouldn't be that way, but it makes some logical sense. But you make Hi-Fi Rush a excellent game, and you still got closed. What point is there? And trying.
Tango Gameworks also made the very, very beloved Evil Within games. Those games were really, really, really well loved. Because so Tango Gameworks was Shinji Mikami's studio.
No wonder he left. Like, he probably saw the writing in the wall.
Shinji Mikami, the director of the Resident Evil series, opened Tango Gameworks with the idea of continuing that legacy, and that's what Evil Within was born. And so he left pretty much when they were being acquired by Microsoft, because he knew what was up. Like, he knew what was up. But they continued on without him. They made
Hi-Fi Rush.
Well, they made Hi-Fi Rush, yeah, but I'm trying to think of the PS5 exclusive one that now I can't remember.
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah, which it didn't move numbers, but it was still fairly well received. And the impression of that game has grown positive as the years have gone on, as it released on PC and stuff like that. So Tango Gameworks had a really good thing going. They had only successes for the most part. And then they had a huge success to the point of them releasing Hi-Fi Rush on other systems because of how successful it was. When the game came out, Microsoft had said that Hi-Fi Rush hit all of their metrics. Every single one of them. But they closed it.
They put all their eggs in the Starfield basket last year. Yet Hi-Fi Rush was way more better received than Starfield.
Mm-hmm.
And you've also said, we want a stronger presence in Japan. and you close the only Japan studio you have that's
Mm-hmm.
making good games, like what Japanese company would want to work with the company after this point?
Yes.
Like
You're only
apparently
closing down successful studios, apparently.
I mean they said the biggest nonsense because they put out a couple statements after the fact, which
Yeah, I
is
was gonna
like
say let's get into the responses. Now that you know what happened, let's get into some of the responses.
the first
So
thing they said is the reason why they closed them was because they were making pitches for games that were years away.
yeah, so
That's how
they
game dev
were,
works.
and it was even reported that Arcane Austin was allegedly pitching an action RPG in the same vein as Dishonored, so it could have been a new Dishonored. And Tango Gameworks was straight up pitching Hi-Fi Rush 2. And so they were looking to staff up to start production on these games. And that's one of the things that they think is what contributed to these studios closes. That's not what Xbox said directly. Matt Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios, and all around one of the dumbest people in the story, said that the cuts were to reprioritize certain titles and resources. We are making these tough decisions to create capacity to increase investments in other parts of our portfolio and focus on our priority games. So, what that means is they don't want to waste time with AA stuff like Hi-Fi Rush, and they don't want to waste time with a little bit more niche titles like another Dishonored game would be. They want to put out more Dooms. They want to put out more Starfields. They want to put out more Elder
Scrolls,
Call of Duty. These are all the things that they are wanting to put greater prioritization on.
We just said before,
Even though those games, well, in Starfield just in particular, failed last year.
I mean, for one, games like Starfield and Fallout and your Elder Scrolls, they take time. A lot longer time than a Hi-Fi Rush would. And yet, it's clear as day they want to rush it, because especially right now with Fallout being on the forefront of everyone's mind, with the TV show, and now we found out that Fortnite next season will have Fallout stuff in it. Fallout's running high right now. They're going to try and push out a new Fallout quickly, which is not a good thing.
Unless they give it to Obsidian.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, Obsidian is also working on Avowed and Outer Worlds too.
Yeah, I was about to say that's if they stay open.
I swear. I mean, I'm angry about Tango. The unholy rage if they close Obsidian.
I am of the mindset that anybody is on the table. Anybody's on the table.
I mean, I'm scared for Ninja Theory.
Yep.
Because they're not marketing Hellblade 2.
Nope. Yeah, Ninja Theory. I bet you if we come back and do a podcast here in a few weeks and we're talking about Ninja Theory being closed down, do not be surprised.
No, I mean, I don't know if a couple weeks out. I don't know if it'll be a couple weeks, but I can imagine within the year, because I'm banking that the way Microsoft's been acting this game before, the lead up, the most important part of the marketing area, they were expecting this game to do God of War stuff, like numbers. And it's like, this game was never going to do that.
It's an established IP.
It's a niche franchise that has one game in it. It only sold about 1 million copies. It's fantastic, but it's a $50 game. It's only gonna be like 5 or 6 hours. It's not gonna set the world on fire, and that may, the way Microsoft's acting, that may be their doom.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not gonna sell. It's on Game Pass.
It'll be critically liked, and then closures will happen about a few months down the line. Yep. Let's get into more Matt Booty bullshit. So the day after the closures were announced, he did a town hall with some staff at ZeniMax and basically said that we're doing this to free up resources so that we can make more games that are smaller and more impactful.
Wins them awards.
Like Hi-Fi Rush, that game that was small and was critically and user loved and won you awards. It was your first Game of the Year nomination in like a decade. It's Matt Booty. I just want to let you know that was really stupid.
literally their best game they've released since Halo Reach. Like,
we
that's
need more games that are smaller and get us prestige and win us awards and stuff like
did that time. The fact that one of them, the people who were laid off, literally like someone like posted that statement on Twitter, and one of the people who worked at Tango who was laid off, literally just posted a picture of like the display they have all of High Rush's award, and just went, not enough.
Yeah. 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 Yep. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. This is actual lunacy. This is actual fucking lunacy.
There's a couple of things. One, I mean, this is why Sony and Nintendo have consistently been kicking Microsoft's ass for years, because both of them will grow their talent.
Yep.
I mean, do you think Guerrilla Games started off as a 20 person studio, and they made some Call of Duty, well, not Call of Duty, but Halo knockoffs within Killzone that didn't do all that great, and then they went up to someone, hey, can we make a game about a red-haired girl fighting robot dinosaurs with a bow and arrow?
Sony's like,
sure,
fuck yeah.
And it became their highest selling exclusive to date. You take chances on your studios. They've earned it. You can nurture them. Like Nintendo, I mean, how many times has Kirby sold? A lot. Like most of the time, those games sold 1 to 3 million copies, and that's about it. But they just keep doing what you're doing. Then, the news, Kirby sold like 8 million, 10 million copies. I mean, Nintendo's been growing their stuff homegrown forever. Like,
I mean, that's one of the things that the Larian Game Studio CEO said at the DICE Awards was that, or was it the BAFTAs? He's spoken at so many award ceremonies where he's like, you create an environment where your veteran staff want to leave or you cut them, and so then you're bringing in new, cheaper help that don't know what they're doing, and so it just leads to a downturn of quality overall. Like that's just what it is. And so next point of this in crazy saga is that now Microsoft and Xbox are asking people at Bethesda's ZeniMax to take severance packages if they want to, because they're trying to squeeze out every single fucking dollar that they can to make up the $69 billion acquisition fee of Activision Blizzard, because fuck, that's the only thing that made them money last year was Call of Duty.
I mean, this in a weird sense, because I was against the acquisition, but I was against it in the terms of this would give Microsoft too much power. I thought it was a possibility this would happen, but I didn't. This is where we're at now. But in a sense, what's now happening is they're now collapsing under their own weight. They're too big. They're just too big. They have so much, and you spent $70 billion of Microsoft's money. Microsoft didn't get as large they are as by being nice, because beforehand, Xbox was never really like a big money driver for Microsoft, but they weren't losing them money. We're spending a lot of their money, so it's kind of like a rounding out in the books, just kind of pet project, and they ignored. Up our hires just kind of ignored it. Now you just spent $70 billion. Now the eyes of the accountants of Microsoft are looking at Xbox, and they ain't going to be very nice now you spent that money. They want it back, and they want it back quickly.
Yep.
And if all who thought that Microsoft buying Activision means we can do Crash and Spyro, no, you're not. You're not getting that.
Reprioritizing for our priority titles.
All those devs are stuck in the Call of Duty mines now. They ain't going nowhere.
More than likely, yes. All right, so let's get to the story's stupidest fucking person. To his credit, Matt Booty said some stupid shit, but then he stopped. And Phil Spencer really hasn't said anything stupid, like, because he hasn't said anything. So
he's been quiet.
Good plan. Sarah Bond, however, is a fucking idiot. So Sarah Bond, in the official Xbox response to this, went on to a show with for Bloomberg Tech with Dina Bass. It could be Bass, but it's probably Bass. And so Xbox president Sarah Bond was asked a lot of questions about my Xbox's cuts and closures in this year. So let's just get all to the fun quotes. Let's just get all to it. So I'm quoting IGN's article, kind of going over the bullshit. And so, this was Sarah Bond's response when asked for an explanation for why Microsoft cut 1,900 jobs back in January/February. And so they had blamed it on the lack of growth in the video game industry at the time. So this is Sarah Bond's response to that. And I'm quoting here, the last year or so in video games, largely the industry's been flat, Bond replied. And even in 2023, we saw some tremendous releases, tremendously groundbreaking games, but still the growth didn't follow all of that. A lot of that's related to our need to bring new players in and make gaming more accessible. But all of that has been happening at the same time that costs associated with making these beautiful AAA blockbuster games is going up, and the time it takes to make them is going up. And so much of our focus as Xbox is about how we do things to help the industry all up, while also ensuring that our brand, everything that we do is there through this moment of transition.
I mean, for starters, I was gonna say, the industry's not growing. Yeah, because you're measuring it to the pandemic years.
Yes.
Where
everybody was stuck inside and looking at new hobbies, and plenty of people turned to gaming as one of those hobbies to stay connected with their friends and family. So that has an unnatural spike that every single company except for Nintendo seems to be chasing.
Like how do you not realize, hey, a freak of nature historic event is happening that's driving everyone inside. This spike cannot last. It will come back down to earth because this wasn't a natural flow of growth.
Yes.
You think you're just going to keep growing from that point? Hell
Absolutely
no.
not. It's an unnatural gain. And the editing team for this interview, if you have not watched it, go fucking watch it, because she says this and the editor for the camera guy zooms out to show this graph that they have over their head, which is Microsoft's Xbox year-over-year growth, and it shows 2020 and 2021 super high. 2023 is only 2022 is only a little bit lower, and 2023 is only a little bit lower. So they are still seeing bigger numbers than prior to the pandemic. It's only dipped a little bit. And kudos to that fucking camera guy who knew what the fuck was up. So if you haven't watched the interview, go fucking watch it, because it's fucking hilarious that camera guy is just like has a personal vendetta against Sarah Bond to make sure that her points are stupid.
I mean, because she also was addressed the stuff directly. Because one, she also said that whole thing was a bunch of word salad. Like, you're saying nothing. Here's what's also astonishing, because she went on a Bloomberg Tech show. This is not a talk show where things that go for like hard hitting. We're gonna hit the CEOs and all of them, with these targeted questions. These are questions you're gonna get are layups that you probably get ahead of time.
It definitely doesn't seem like anybody prepared anything for her. Like,
no,
these were obvious topics that she was gonna have to answer about.
Like, you weren't facing a reporter who was looking for an axe to grind. You're just someone who's going to give you a puff piece interview, and this is still what you do. Like, what? Like, it's as I said, their leadership has been chasing. I don't know I don't think they know what they're chasing. They want instant success.
They're chasing those record-breaking profits that the pandemic brought on, even though they are still higher than pre-pandemic levels, because there are plenty of people that got into gaming during the pandemic and have stuck around. That's why you're still seeing numbers higher than pre-pandemic levels, but
not everyone did. Which is, of course, they weren't. Some people wanted to do for a little bit. No, my point was they. This is a point of. Again, against Sony and Nintendo, both Sony and Nintendo take risk on games that may have not even done so well the first time out. I mean, Uncharted 1 did okay. But then they took a chance. Okay, we'll do Uncharted 2, and Uncharted 2 is on top of the world the year came out. It's same to Nintendo. They've taken chances. I mean, Fire Emblem was on its last breath with Awakening.
Yep.
And they said, we'll do another chance. And it set the world on fire, and now Fire Emblem is one of their pillars.
Yep.
You keep taking chances. Now, eventually, yes, some chances don't pan out. You got to stop, burning money. You know it's not going to work. But Hi-Fi Rush was clearly a one you want to, we're going to keep investing in this one. This is going to work for us. Shows with this, all this shows to me was Microsoft, and it's proven what I saw Microsoft. They don't care about the work needed to get success. They just want to be successful now. That's why they bought Activision, because they don't want talent. We're doing this for the talent. No, you want Call of Duty. Because Call of Duty is already a successful franchise. You just want that money is going to do. And Candy Crush. But it's the same thing. Oh, we want to presence Japan. A certain game company has been working really closely with Xbox recently, with Atlas and Sega. Because Persona and Yakuza were already successful on PlayStation. So Xbox was like, oh, we want to, do some marketing with them, because we want to invest, you just want the name attached to you because they already were successful. You don't want to actually do the work to make your own stuff.
Yeah. Well, let's get back into Sarah Bond's disastrous interview. So she was then asked about the decision to close those ZeniMax studios. Responding, she pointed to the industry's current failure to meaningfully grow its audience and the desire to ensure Xbox survives this transition. Quoting Sarah Bond here, it's always extraordinarily hard when you have to make decisions like that, Bond said. I'll go back to what I was saying about the industry. And when we looked at those fundamental trends, we feel a deep responsibility to ensure that the games we make, the devices we build, the services that we offer are there through moments, even when the industry isn't growing and when you're through a time of transition. And the news we announced earlier this week is an outcome of that, and our commitment to make sure that the business is healthy for the long term. But that said, our commitment to having our own studios and working with partners to have games large and small, we're a platform where you can play GTA, but you can also play Palworld, where you can play Call of Duty, and you can also play Pentiment. That doesn't change. And frankly, our commitment to Bethesda and the role that it plays as part of Xbox and everything that we do. It's actually been pretty fantastic. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to check it out. The Fallout show on Amazon, and it's been great to see people fall in love with that universe, but also what it's done for the games themselves and the people going back and exploring everything that's inside of that. There's some other great things that are coming from our studios later this year. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I was a big indie fan growing up. It looks like you were too, so you should check that out. But really, now for us and our teams, our focus is on the people impacted and doing everything that we can do to help them through this hard transition.
That was a bunch of word salad.
The fact that you fucking plug the Fallout TV show when you're talking about people losing their fucking jobs is so out of touch. And again, the state of the industry is not bad. It's cooling off from the red hot pandemic years.
Yeah, I mean,
Nintendo is actively hiring people because they are gearing up to launch the Switch 2. The Switch will be the best-selling console of all time this year after the holiday season. They are hundreds of consoles away from passing the DS and only 1,000 more to beat the PS2. You cannot tell me that this industry is not doing well when we are going to have a console that beats PlayStation 2's record for best-selling console of all time.
I mean, same thing. I mean, Sony put their numbers, and they're about 59.2 PS5 sold. Like, they're like 800,000 behind where the PS4 was launched online. Now, some people are trying to poo-poo that. Like, oh, it's a bad thing that only half of PS4 users have upgraded PS5. Like, no, that's not. We're about the halfway point of the cycle. So about half have upgraded. That's normal. Yeah. And also considering the fact that the PS5 came out of the gate in the middle of pandemic, they couldn't get the parts to manufacture the damn thing for a while, and people are struggling more nowadays than the PS4 during the PS4 cycle.
Record high inflation.
Yeah, so the fact that the PS5 is
only selling that much.
Yeah, the fact that PS5 is less than 1 million behind. I don't think that's any cause for alarm. I mean, there are some people going, oh, they went down 29% this quarter compared to last quarter, and Microsoft was down like 30% compared to last quarter. But the difference is the context is Sony's down 30% in Q4 of this year compared to last year, where they were up 200%. So of course you're going to come back down from that. Whereas Microsoft is down 30% from another down 30% year. Yes. They only shipped 800,000 units.
To give you an insight on Xbox's terrible go of it this console generation, they released Starfield and saw their console numbers drop that month of release. Nobody went out and bought a new console for Starfield. People are buying consoles for what Nintendo is putting out. People are buying PS5s to play things like Spider-Man 2 and God of War Ragnarok and Stellar Blade and Final Fantasy VII. The industry is not as healthy as it was in 2020 and 2021, but it's still healthier than what it was in 2019. Except not for Xbox, because they are losing because they're doing the wrong things.
They keep shooting themselves in the foot every chance they get.
Well, let's get to another shoot in the foot. So, coming off of that response, the interviewer then basically calls out the closure of Tango Gameworks and said, how can it be possible that a studio behind an award-winning, apparently commercially successful title be closed just after a year after that release? So basically laying it on the line for Tango Gameworks. And here's what Sarah Bond said. One of the things I really love about the game industry is that it's a creative art form. And it means that the situation and what successes for each game in the studio is also really unique. There's no one size fits all to it for us. And so we look at each studio, each game team, and we look at a whole variety of factors when we're faced with making decisions and trade-offs like that. But it all comes back to our long-term commitment to the games we create, the devices we build, the services, and ensuring that we are setting ourselves up to be able to deliver on those promises.
What?
I'm sorry, did the question get answered?
No, I mean, it's the CEO talk, but...
Does my ears work?
As I said...
Did the question get answered?
The fact that this is how bad they flubbed during a puff piece interview, that is astoundingly horrific. As I said, the mismanagement over there has been going on for so long. I don't understand how they haven't cleaned house there. It's almost... Phil Spencer was brought in after Don Matrick really harmed the brand of Xbox during the Xbox One transition. Can we even say at this point he's really done anything to fix that problem?
No.
People say he saved Xbox. How? How did he save it?
Well, no, that statement is true.
Well,
Phil Spencer was one of the key people in doing the replacements for the Xbox 360 Red Ring of Death.
My point was,
if you're saying anything other than that part, then you're wrong. Phil Spencer's done nothing for Xbox except put them further into a fucking hole.
But my point is, because there was also a time during 2014 when Satya Nadella was also taking over as CEO, and it said that Phil Spencer had to convince him to keep the Xbox division, the lights on. Apparently, he was successful in doing that. So in that sense, he saved Xbox at that moment. But really, it doesn't even feel like he saved them. It was just more a state execution.
Yeah. I mean, none of this has been positive for Xbox. Nothing.
No.
There's been no positive spin. Even the hardcore of hardcore Xbox fans have kind of shut their mouth and sat down because you can't, even if you didn't play Hi-Fi Rush, you knew it was successful. It was nominated for Game of the Year. It put the Xbox name out there. And they just
me and you don't really seek out Xbox games. None of them really appeal to us. Yet we both had nothing but praise for Hi-Fi Rush.
Mm-hmm.
That's the baffling thing is, do you want success or do you not? And Hi-Fi Rush...
Apparently it's no.
Apparently. They don't understand. They keep saying these words of we want creative freedom, but they don't actually follow through with it once you're actually inside the company itself or going through its day-to-day. They just want the money. They want the cold, creativeless slot factory that is Call of Duty.
Yes, that's
it.
right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And I said earlier, they're going to, now that Fallout's super successful, the show, and it's kind of running high. I bet they're going to try and force out another Fallout from someone.
Yeah, but who do they honestly, who do they give it to? Because I mean, Obsidian is wrapped up in 2 different games right now. 343 has kicked the bucket in terms of quality. It's rumored that the Bethesda proper is working on Starfield DLC, and probably soon after we'll move on to Elder Scrolls. Like, who do you give it to?
I mean, unless they told them to shelve Elder Scrolls and do another Fallout 5 instead of that, which I think it's a bad call because people have been waiting for new Elder Scrolls for how long?
Over 10 years.
Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't expect. I don't think it's a good idea to make that call, but I could see them making that call. Say, you're doing Fallout 5 instead, and I want it done within this time frame, which that's not going to be possible. Wouldn't be feasible, but they're going to make it happen, and it's going to come out like shit.
Yeah, I mean, essentially yes. Essentially yes. Well, let's go ahead and make Xbox's day even worse here. So days after they closed 3 studios, absorbed 1, they open a new one.
Of devs that they were just like reforming the studio within their own, like they have the Def 1 studio, we're just going to reform it with the same team, just call it something else. It wasn't even that. It's completely new people.
Yep. Xbox's Activision opens new studio to develop narrative-based AAA franchise. This coming out of Game Informer. The studio's name is Elsewhere Entertainment, and they are developing a new narrative-based and genre-defined AAA franchise. How many buzzwords can you fit in there? Studio's based out of Warsaw, Poland, and by all accounts, they are not working on Call of Duty.
For now,
they will get put in the mines. But yeah, I mean, to close 3 studios and open a new one is just crazy to me. It's just crazy. So coming off of a blog post, I'm quoting the Game Informer article here. Built from the ground up, again, new people, just like Nick said, they didn't even recycle or rehire any of the people they just got rid of. Elsewhere Entertainment is a premier and standalone studio dedicated to establishing an environment that inspires bold and diverse ideas. The blog post reads, the team's underlying mission encourages everyone to explore and collaborate creatively to craft a franchise with an enduring legacy that resonates far beyond games. The new studio has full access to Activision's resources and tools as it continues to increase production and development. Elsewhere is opening its search for best-in-class talent across the industry and around the world to help create a state-of-the-art and next-generation gaming experience. Elsewhere is currently made up of developers with experience working on franchises like The Last of Us, Uncharted, The Witcher, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny, Tom Clancy's Division, and Far Cry.
I mean, yeah, talented bunch, but why are you hiring for new studio when you just laid off a bunch of them? Yes. One that was particularly doing very good work for you, like. And again, ultimately, they work for Activision. Yeah. You will be put in the Call of Duty mines.
You will be put in the Call of Duty mines. Toys for Bob got out. That doesn't mean that you will. I just don't understand the logic of it. I just really don't understand the logic of it. Because you could say, oh, this was Activision doing it, not Xbox. Activision answers to Xbox now. So they went to somebody at Xbox and was like, hey, can we do this thing? And Xbox was like, yeah, sure, here's the money to do it, kid. Piss off. And they're like, thank you. And then went and did it.
Microsoft wants that money back. That's why they're doing all this stuff, because that's something. Because now the Xbox division is essentially there's $70 billion in the hole. They owe that money back to the company. You really think a dev team of that talent, pool is cheap? No. That's expensive. That's more. That's not helping their cost cutting measures. So yeah, I don't that game they want their thing that they don't want to make will never see the light of day.
Yeah, and they said that they're doing a narrative based and genre defined AAA franchise. So let's put it in the same vein as like Uncharted. That's what that screams to me.
Yeah, that's what it says to me.
Is something over the top, actiony that can kind of appeal to everybody. Uncharted has cost hundreds of millions of dollars to make, years to make. So the return on investment here is not going to happen anytime soon, and it's gonna be the exact thing that Sarah Bond was talking about, where prices for games have gone up in terms of development costs. And so here you are greenlighting another hundreds of millions-dollar game and shutting down one that probably would have cost you tens of millions of dollars and got you the fucking prestige and the awards and the people that you wanted with a fucking Hi-Fi Rush sequel.
I mean, and ultimately, they're too stubborn to admit something. They're too stubborn to admit Game Pass has failed. It doesn't work. It's not sustainable. Because there was reports saying that there were internal debates about putting Call of Duty day and date on the service. Because I'm guaranteed the upper board of Microsoft is going, that would kill the sales. And this thing's a cash cow. Why the hell would we put it on Game Pass? Now, the past couple days, the reports are it looks like they will go through with it, putting Call of Duty day and date on Game Pass this year. However, the reports are with it, new tiers will be introduced. So I'm going to assume that was the catch of them to be okay with that, is they're going to shove the Call of Duty into the highest paid tier. And it's like, at a certain point, people are just not going to pay $30 a month for a subscription for Call of Duty. They can just go buy the game. And the same thing with a game like I said, we're compared to Uncharted, but the same thing with a game like Spider-Man, or anything mostly Sony makes. There's a reason they don't put their games day and date on the service.
Because they know people will buy them. Because people want them.
Well, yeah, but they know they will lose money doing that.
Yes.
It doesn't make the return on the thing. Yes, but did Spider-Man 2 cost a little much to make? Over $300 million? Yeah, it's a little much. But I guarantee they've made that money back by now.
Yeah, I've not seen any reports, but I'm sure that it's already profitable.
There's no way that a dev team of that talent and making a game like they're saying they want to make can make its money back with Game Pass. Not possible.
And especially since Game Pass numbers are way farther down than they should be.
Mm-hmm.
Like Xbox is floundering, and that's why they are making these stupid decisions, because they have no other options but to make stupid decisions. And now they're winning stupid prizes and wonder why they're winning stupid prizes.
I mean, there's also talks of them releasing a new Xbox in 2026, which is like, that's early. But because we came out stumbling out of the gate, like that's you're trying to repeat the 360, but you're not gonna have the same luck. And at this point, you've already two things have happened. One, you've already started the porting process of games to PS5. So now we'll reach your point that and those reports come out that there's not, for upper brass at Microsoft, there's no red line for what they were going to port to PS5.
Yeah,
the Xbox brass do, but they don't enter Microsoft, and they don't have that.
Yeah,
but
Microsoft got $70 billion to make up.
Yeah. So they just put Sea of Thieves on the PS5.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing pretty well. Like, it's still in the top 10 games sold on PlayStation right now. Stellar Blades already fell out of the top 10. You think Microsoft hasn't noticed that?
Oh, that they said when they were doing this that they were going to track these numbers very, very closely of everything that they were porting over. So they probably get updates on that daily.
Yeah, I guarantee. We're gonna reach a point between the two consoles where the Xbox can play Xbox games, duh. But the PlayStation can play PlayStation and Xbox games, but the Xbox can't play PlayStation games.
Mm-hmm.
So why the fuck would I buy an Xbox when the PlayStation will play both of those games?
Yep.
You just literally gave the entire industry to Sony.
Yeah, essentially, yes. I was already disenfranchised with Xbox. This just locked that into stone. Like, if you think that I'm buying any of your bullshit after you close down the studio that made one of my favorite games of last year for a stupid ass reason, you're sadly mistaken.
Oh.
I do vote with my wallet, and that's why I don't own an Xbox.
Phil Spencer has been conning people for a long time.
Yeah.
For being a friendly, like actually, oh, I'm the friendly gamer CEO.
Dude, bro, CEO.
Y'all got played by a con man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, Nintendo and Sony don't really talk to you about things, but honestly, I kind of rather have it be that way. They don't pretend they're my friend. They just like, hey, I have product. I want you to buy product. Okay, I give you money. Like, we are well aware that our relationship is purely transactional, and I'm okay with that. They give me the goods, I give them my money. We're cool. Microsoft wants to act like they're cool, but like, blah, you can't even get your own house in order.
Yeah, there was a quote given to Jason Schreier by somebody that works at some of the Xbox studios right now, and he said that it's no longer Xbox gaming, it's Microsoft gaming. Because yeah, when you invest $70 billion and you're in third fucking place, holding it down rock solid. Honestly, if Sega put out a new console, I bet it would beat Xbox. With the amount of goodwill that they've made back in the last like 15 years. So Microsoft's going, you're costing me money now. I got to step in. And now they're stepping in and nobody likes it. Except for apparently Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, and Sarah Bond, who are welcome to come on the show, and we will talk about all kinds of good stuff with you. Most notably, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on Hi-Fi Rush. That'd be fun. Maybe we'll send you over our review of it that we did last year, and you guys can tell us how you feel about it. But you're welcome on the show, because I would love to talk to you about what you've done with your year this year.
Won't be a fun interview for them.
I will be there with bells on. All right, it's time to move away from stupid Xbox. If you're an Xbox fan, don't let us know in the comments. You should hide that right now.
I'm sorry. I'm more just sorry at this point for like you.
Seriously,
like this is any other like in a sport, like a team sport like baseball or football or something like that. Like in a sense, Phil Spencer's the head coach and all that stuff. If other teams are performing this horribly, like you're not even making the playoffs, or we want to win the Super Bowl and stuff. Like focus on making the playoffs first. You keep missing year after year after year. They would have been fired by this point.
I think the Lakers just fired. I don't. If I quote this wrong, do not blame me. I'm not a sports guy, if you could not tell. But I think the Lakers just fired their head coach after 2 seasons with the team. Like Phil Spencer's been there for 10 years now, and you guys haven't won shit. If this was the sports world, your ass would be grass, man. You'd be coaching some like small high school team by this point. Like that's how disgraced you are.
Like, yeah, Sony or Nintendo or any other publisher don't win the Super Bowl every year, don't come with the game, but they're always in the playoffs. They're always there fighting. Microsoft, they're literally the Detroit Lions with the Cleveland Browns.
Oh my god, we gotta get away from Xbox. If you're an Xbox fan, hide that shit. Don't ever.
PC. You can move to PC.
Yeah, move to PC. Then you can play your Xbox games, but then people don't hate you. All right, so bringing up the other guy, everything's sunshine and rainbows over at Nintendo. They're doing their own thing. They're about to beat a record. Like everything is coming up aces. Small note for Nintendo. They did announce that we will get Switch 2 news sometime in this fiscal year. And they did confirm that there will be a June Direct. There will not be any Switch 2 news in that June Direct. It'll be everything that's coming out in the last half of the year. So we will get a Switch 2 news sometime early next year. And they have a whole half a year stuff to look forward to if you're a Switch fan. So everything is sunshine and rainbows over at Nintendo.
I do want to point out the funniest of how Sarah Bond has this interview, an in-person interview, word salad, nothing. Nintendo goes on Twitter, literally just like, this is who I am. This is what we're doing. Bye. Doesn't elaborate.
Deuces. Like, and the crowd goes wild.
I kind of appreciate that. Like, we're not doing it for
it's that soccer sports bar meme of the DVD thing going around, and it hits the corner and the bar erupts. Like, that's what Nintendo's doing right now, while Sony and Microsoft just slowly burn into the ground.
Like,
but yeah, so Sunshine Rainbow's Nintendo. Everything's coming up aces. They can't lose. They won't lose. It's Nintendo.
they made apparently, and also in that they have made more profit in the Switch era than from the original Nintendo, to the Wii U era combined.
That's fucking crazy.
Like, what the fuck? Nintendo ain't going anywhere.
People Sunshine and Rainbows, they're handing out. They have mandatory happy hour every Friday. They're handing out shots to everybody. Everybody's getting bonuses and shit. Everybody smokes cigars now for some reason. Like everything, Nintendo is number one company.
There's so many people like, oh, they should go third party. Like, buddy, they're not going anywhere. They're sitting on a mountain of cash. They ain't going anywhere.
They wear the crown. They have the nicest castle. If you do not see that, you are mistaken. They had a couple hiccups. Not gonna say no to that, but no, they wear the crown firmly, buddy. They're about to be number one. They're about to be number 1, number 3, number 4, and I think number 5 as well. So like you're just kind of fucked. But yeah, so talking about PlayStation now, they were really thankful for Xbox stealing the spotlight back. Let's just say that the Helldivers 2 saga is now behind us. You heard about the rest of it last episode, but here's the resolution. PlayStation caved. They are no longer doing the PSN sign-in requirement for Helldivers 2. But there's some nuance here too. So they said that they're no longer doing it, and they said their normal, hey, we appreciate your support, blah 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 blah. Helldivers 2, keep selling, woohoo. And to the fans' credit, they kind of undid a lot of the damage that they did. So they went back through and gave positive reviews back to the game to bring back up like the Steam reviews and stuff like that, which you never hear of. Usually the bad reviews just fucking stay, but now they came back and they changed the reviews. But there's still some controversy because it sounds like the countries that it was removed from, it is still delisted in. That's about 177 countries.
Yeah.
And they haven't put it back up since.
There's a clarification here. 2 things. One, just because it's been delisted in those countries doesn't mean those people who are in those countries can't still play the game. Those people who bought those games in those countries still have access to the game they bought. Just no one else there now can buy them.
Yes.
The same thing has happened with Ghost of Tsushima now.
Yes. So Ghost of Tsushima does require a PSN login for the multiplayer part. Sucker Punch said it a dozen times well before the release of that it was always going to be this way.
I mean, real quick on the side. Every PlayStation multiplayer game from this point will require it. Yes. Sony will not let because from what happened in this past situation was the CEO of Arrowhead admitted this was supposed to be at launch. I turned it off at launch unilaterally. I guarantee it because of this kerfuffle. They've told the makers of Concord. I don't know who the name of that studio, but who's making Concord? They've told them you are to not turn that off. If you're having server troubles, it doesn't matter. That stays on. I'm guaranteed they were being stern about that.
Yeah.
So
100%.
In a sense, you may have won the battle with Helldivers 2, but the war will still be Sony's. Like every other game will require it.
Yes, Ghost of Tsushima is an interesting case though because it is a single player game that has a multiplayer component, and so there's no way to just play the single player. So in the countries that do not have access to PSN, you just straight up can't buy the game and play the single player, which sucks.
No, it sucks. But I'm also, as we'll say, I think there's also this whole thing was very much reminds of that meme you ever see from SpongeBob where SpongeBob and Patrick going, "We did it, Patrick! We saved the city," and everything's on fire.
Yes.
Like the worry about the country thing, worry about the PSN stuff, that's all with the Helldiver stuff has led to this. Because beforehand, other people in our country, I can make another account in another country and be fine. There's workarounds. You made it. You kind of shown a spotlight on this, so now Sony can't just bury it like they usually did. They weren't banning people for making PSNs and saying they were in the country they aren't. Like even 10 years ago, the CEO, I wasn't CEO, but one of the heads of PlayStation back then said, I have an account in the US, in the EU, in Japan. So usually there's kind of a hush hush, like we won't ban you if you do that, and just don't tell us you're doing that, and we'll ignore it. But now there's a spotlight shown on it, they can't ignore it. So this is kind of the natural consequence of that line of thought that happened.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, so it's still PlayStation Network still going to be posing some issues going forward for sure. As they continue to move forward with their efforts in PC. But Helldivers 2, at least, you get a small victory for democracy. Very small one.
I'll say, but overall, I think because they also put out some numbers for them. There's been a lot of doom and gloom, but as I said, the industry now, I will say with just some problems that these are actual issues Sony did. Like looking at Sony's numbers, they're actually pretty good for what Sony did this year. Their fiscal year, very good. They don't make as much profit as Nintendo does, but they don't sell things as like the Switch it's super cheap to make. The PS5 is not. So but they pull in more revenue than Nintendo does. So I mean, I think they pull in like twice the revenue Nintendo does, which makes sense. A lot of Fortnite, things like Madden are played on a PlayStation versus Nintendo. But as I said earlier, people complain that the PS5 is down 30% year in quarter four. Like yeah, but they're up like 200% overall. They sold 20.8 million PS5s this year.
Yep.
That's crazy. Like Sony should not be angry at those numbers. Like that's why their layoffs, an actual problem they did, was fucking stupid. Because clearly Sony's healthy. They're not in any trouble. Yeah. As long as you know how to manage the situation, they're healthy. They do need to cut some costs. Now they're cutting to fix that cost cutting issue. The issue is not going to be, we're just going to put everything day in day on PC. That's not how they do it. The issue of cost cutting is just cut costs. Don't spend. Spider-Man 2 again. Should have again, as I said earlier, you spent $300 million on that game development? Probably not. But Spider-Man 2 is kind of the one that can get away with that. Should Horizon 3 cost that much? No, absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, and you need to cut money to do that. Now they've also said they don't expect to sell that many PS5s this year as they did this previous year. They're expecting like 18 million PS5s to be sold, which would put them around 80 million ish, 70, at the end of next year, which is still pretty good. I don't think the PS5 will not catch the PS2. It won't.
No.
But I think if Sony expecting it to, that's a problem. And I don't know if they're expecting to, but they are. That's a major issue because nothing. The reason why the PS2 did what it was because of the DVD player.
Yep, it was the cheapest DVD player at the time.
Yeah, there's nothing in the PS5 that's special. Yeah, this SSD's cool, but that doesn't sell to the common man.
Yeah. Nintendo's showing that versatility is at the forefront of a lot of people's minds, and that's why it will beat the PS2.
Yeah, which it's the same reason why PS2. They're both versatile. Anyway, the point I was trying to make is, but I still think some people are saying that the PS5 won't be the PS4. I don't agree with that. I think the PS5 will outsell the PS4 on account of Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah.
So honestly,
that'd be a huge help.
Yeah, because if Grand Theft Auto 6 didn't exist, at this point I would probably say, I don't think it will. But Grand Theft Auto 6 will be the difference maker, because it's not released on PC day and date. Like most people are gonna buy a PlayStation to buy that game. That game specifically will cause too many casuals will cave to play Grand Theft Auto 6, and there'll be a lot of PC only people like. Some may be able to withstand it and wait, do that year or two wait for it, but there's one game that can make the most diehard PC player crack. It's Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
If as long as Sony can manage expectations correctly and knowing that information in mind, they should be fine.
Yeah,
I don't think the industry is in a bad place, but for a lot of it is not because of actual problems, just CEOs being stupid.
Yep, 100%. The industry's healthy. It's healthy. It's cooled off since the pandemic, but it's healthier than pre-pandemic numbers, without a doubt.
That should be fine then.
Should be fine. Last story here is one that you brought to my attention. I saw this game get announced, but I didn't see any discourse course around it. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Assassin's Creed Japan officially announced this week. Comes out in November. 2 protagonists. One a ninja, one a samurai. And they both have different gameplay styles associated with them.
I watched the trailer for it. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I do think in general, people wanted Japan Assassin's Creed for a very long time, and Ghost of Tsushima was kind of the we'll do it ourselves type of thing, and it done well, but they're finally doing it. It looks fine. I mean, I do have concerns about the game being Ubisoft-ified, just because their gameplay style is bloated with icons everywhere.
Yes.
Normal concerns. But then a bunch of gamers decide to have other concerns, and it's like, what the fuck is wrong with some of you?
Oh.
Genuinely.
We asked this question last episode with Eve, but I guess it's a normal thing.
I mean, honestly, this is worse. This is genuinely worse. Like, that case with Eve, you're just being horny. Like, okay, calm yourself down. This time around, y'all are just being evil.
Yeah.
There's no other word for it. Just being hateful. Like, oh, why is they're literally complaining why Yasuke is a playable character. That they're mad, like, oh, it's not historically accurate. Well, he actually was
a samurai. He's an African American man.
Mm-hmm.
And the discourse is around the fact that he is an African American man, which is just so stupid.
One, it's not historically accurate, even though he's like the first AC protagonist who's based on a real person. The other protagonist is a made-up person.
Yep.
Like, what do you mean it's not historically accurate? And they're trying to make excuses to hide their fucking racism.
Mm-hmm.
How am I supposed to be a stealthy, this guy in that area? Well, he's the samurai. He's not supposed to be stealthy. The woman's the stealthy player.
The ninja's the stealthy one. Yeah, they've split up the gameplay styles. You've got new AC, which is not AC with Yasuke, and you have old AC, which with the ninja. Like, if you want to be stealthy, then be stealthy with the ninja. But like, the samurai is not going to be stealthy. He's a samurai. He's going to cut you down with a sword. Like, get over it.
But they're also, being sexist too, because like, oh, I wanted a Japanese person. Well, there's the ninja. Oh, but she's a Japanese woman. So they don't like that either. Like, you're just being racist and sexist. That's the only reason you're upset at this game. That's it. You can spin it however you try to like. We all fucking know why you're angry. Literally, just go away. Yeah. If you're watching this and you're upset, go away. We don't want you here.
Seriously.
I'd rather have a low view count than be watched by a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, straight up. Yeah. I'm like, I wasn't really thinking about much of the game at all in the first place, because I said Ubisoft games have their own issues.
Yes.
I'm not really much in Star Wars Outlaws. I mean, hell, there's an issue with the game. It costs you $130, which is like normal Ubisoft thing, but still. But because of this, I'm really tempted just to buy it just as a fuck you to you people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely, especially if there's nothing going on in November. I mean, I just can't understand why this is even an issue. I just really can't understand why this is even an issue. If he wasn't based on a real person, like, why is this an issue? It was a creative decision that they made. Who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares?
This is a series you fight Anubis.
Yeah.
The Pope becomes a wizard using an apple of Eden. George Washington sees a thing from Eden and becomes a tyrannical ruler of the United States.
Yep.
This is a series known for historical accuracy? But even then, Yasuke himself is historically accurate.
Yep. Yeah. I double down on what Nick said. If you have problems with this, just please click off the video. Go watch something else. Go watch an echo chamber of your views instead of here. Or change your views and come back. Because you're wrong.
Actually be a good member of society, a good person.
If you're upset by this, just you shouldn't be.
Go fuck yourself.
Go seek some therapy. Sit down, really work through those emotions, because this is this is ridiculous. Whether or not it's historical accurate, if you've got problems with African American representation or with women representation or with Asian representation or whatever the representation may be, if it's not your representation and you have a problem with that, then you need to go seek help for that problem. Simple as that. Everybody deserves to be represented. These underrepresented communities even more so. Simple as that. Oh my lord, soapbox after soapbox.
Yeah, I have a feeling this won't be the last time we'll have to tackle this.
The games and culture's patented soapbox. Coming to a store near you. Pick it up at Home Goods today. Okay.
I mean,
go
ahead. Hopefully we'll have good news soon, because we have a place. There's rumors of a PlayStation showcase sometime this month.
Yes.
So hopefully that'll be some good news.
Yes.
We obviously know. I mean, Xbox keeps closing studios, but the studios we'll play a game with the Xbox showcase and see which studio is going to be next they close.
Yes. June is the month for video game announcements, so we will be very busy. You might see some live reactions for the ones that we care about. Maybe not. Who knows? We'll at least do roundups and stuff like that. Coming here soon, though, we do have a Princess Peach Showtime review ready to go. Nick and I are both finished with that one. Nick and I both have finished X-Men 97 as well. So we're gonna do our first culture review on this Games and Culture channel. Go watch X-Men.
Go watch X-Men.
You want a spoiler for the review? Go watch X-Men 97.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's coming down the pipeline. June will be a busy month for us for sure. With all of the game announcements, Jeff Keighley blessing us.
I mean, we'll probably do
the trailers.
I mean, we might do a Hades 2 review too. We're just praising the game.
I think you'll see a lot of Hades 2 on this channel.
Yeah.
But that is going to wrap up this episode of the news. Please let us know in the comments. Are you Team Xbox? Are you going to change from Team Xbox? Are you going to pick up AC Shadows? Did you buy one of the physical copies from limited run of Hi-Fi Rush to do a seance and revive Dead Tango Gameworks?
They haven't put those in pre-orders yet, but
regardless,
I'm let us know.
Let us know in the comments. Also, for a little bit brighter spot in the comments, let us know what you've been playing. Have you been playing something that we haven't talked about on the show? And if you enjoy it, leave a little mini review for us. Maybe you'll pique our interest. We'll play it. So, but until next time, go ahead.
I'll say, wherever you're playing Hades 2 like us, you want to talk about it with us, we'll talk more about Hades 2.
Yeah,
we're Stellar Blade.
I can gladly talk more about Hades 2 for sure. But until next time, friends, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Adios.